Japan, 1960. A quiet morning. An armored vehicle carrying 300 million yen and 4 guards drives along one of Tokyo's suburban roads. Suddenly, a police officer appears, waving them to stop. He warns the guards that their vehicle is rigged with explosives and could blow up at any second. The guards quickly step outside, and just moments later, smoke begins pouring out from under the truck. Panic. The guards retreat, bracing for an explosion. But instead, they watch as the officer calmly gets into the car and drives away. Within a minute, both the man and the money vanish.
Get everybody in the stuff together. Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
The 1960s were the golden years of Japan's post-war recovery, a time when the country rose from the ruins of war to become an economic superpower. The economy was growing at a staggering 10 to 12% per year, a phenomenon later called the Japanese economic miracle. On December 10, 1968, in the Tokyo suburb of Fuchu, a cash transport vehicle belonging to the Nippon Trust Bank was delivering year-end bonuses for employees of the Toshiba Corporation. The amount on board? Nearly 300 million yen, around $800,000 at the time. To put that in perspective, in 1960, the average Japanese worker earned about 100,000 yen a year. By the end of the decade, salaries had doubled, and corporate bonuses had become a proud tradition, symbols of Japan's prosperity and stability. And it was in this atmosphere of optimism and trust that one of the most legendary crimes of the 20th century took place. The route was routine and well-known. The van left the bank's branch in Kokubunji and was heading toward the Toshiba plant in Fuchu, its final destination being the company's Tokyo headquarters, where hundreds of workers awaited their bonuses. But near the Fuchu prison, the largest correctional facility in Japan, everything changed. Fuchu prison was Japan's answer to a new era of order and discipline. Massive concrete walls, iron gates, and endless rows of cells. It was designed to hold thousands of inmates and to embody the strength of the state. Over time, it became one of the most important and feared correctional facilities in the country, a place where Japan's strictest laws met their human limits. At around 9:30 a.m., the armored truck passed by the prison walls. The area was calm, almost eerily so. Inside the vehicle were 4 bank employees. In the metal cases behind them, nearly 300 million yen in cash, carefully stacked and sealed. The guards had driven this route many times before. Everything about it felt routine. Then, as the truck turned a narrow corner near the prison's western wall, a motorcycle suddenly appeared from behind a line of parked vehicles. The rider, dressed in a crisp police uniform, wearing a white helmet and boots polished to a mirror shine, his target car right in front of him. He raised his hand sharply, signaling the truck to stop. The driver of the car braked. For a moment, no one spoke. The man approached the window, his posture strict and confident. He introduced himself as a police officer from the Tachikawa precinct, explaining in an urgent but steady voice that there had been a bomb threat targeting this exact vehicle. According to him, the Fuchu police station had received an anonymous phone call just minutes earlier. The caller claimed explosives had been hidden under the armored truck's chassis and could detonate at any moment. The guards exchanged nervous looks. It was 1968. Terrorism and political unrest were not unheard of in Japan. The officer ordered them to stay back while he conducted an inspection. He crouched beside the truck, flashlight in hand, and slid slightly underneath the front bumper. Seconds later, smoke began to pour out, rising from beneath the engine. Panic hit instantly. The guards stumbled backward, covering their faces from the smoke and heat. The officer yelled at them to take cover, waving them farther away, his tone now sharp, commanding. They waited for the explosion, but instead, there was only silence. No blast, no fire. Only the faint hum of the truck's idling engine under the fading cloud of smoke. Then, in one smooth motion, the man stood up, opened the driver's door, and got inside. For a split second, the guards must have thought he was moving the vehicle to safety. But before they could react, the armored vehicle began to pull away, accelerating fast. They shouted, but it was too late. The motorcycle, the officer, and the truck all disappeared down the narrow road. Within less than 3 minutes, the man had vanished along with the money. For Japan, it was a national shock. A country where faith in law and order was absolute suddenly realized that even the police uniform could be used as a weapon. The investigation became the largest in Japanese history. Over 170,000 police officers mobilized, more than 110,000 people questioned, around 1.2 million fingerprints analyzed, and 120,000 pieces of evidence collected. The police found a motorcycle, a getaway car, boxes, and dozens of everyday objects, from flashlights and radios to gloves and clothing. But soon they realized most of it was a trap. The thief had planted fake evidence to confuse investigators and sent them down the wrong paths. The investigation brought in dozens of potential suspects. A 19-year-old policeman's son was found dead just days later. Having ingested cyanide, many believed it was suicide, though some saw it as a silencing. A 26-year-old ex-convict was arrested, but witnesses proved he had been taking an exam during the crime. And only reason why he was arrested because he looked like possible suspect. Well, that's all police have, possible face of suspect. And at the end, no one was ever charged. Even though the true identity of the criminal, or criminals, remains unknown, clues suggest that the person might have had connections within law enforcement or the banking system. He knew the route, the schedule, and how to manipulate the psychological trust that Japanese society placed in authority. Guessing the location of a specific cash transport in a city as vast as Tokyo would have been nearly impossible without insider knowledge. Experts also noted the use of multiple vehicles, implying that it was likely a coordinated group effort, not a lone thief, though the possibility of a single mastermind cannot be ruled out. So, why it worked? The success of the 300 million yen heist came from understanding Japanese society more than from brute force. The criminal didn't rely on weapons or violence, only deception. In 1960s Japan, a police uniform symbolized unquestionable authority. Ordinary citizens, even trained guards, were psychologically conditioned to obey. The genius lay in its simplicity. No gunfire, no explosives, no casualties, and fewer traces left behind. Many experts believe that panic and the police's inexperience were key factors. Japan's law enforcement had never faced a case like this, and in 1968, without DNA analysis, surveillance cameras, or digital databases, solving it was almost impossible. Every fingerprint had to be checked by hand. Every lead followed manually. The investigation dragged on for 7 years, but by 1975, the statute of limitations expired. The case was closed. No suspect was ever convicted. The money was never recovered. It became known simply as the 300 million yen robbery. Books were written, films and documentaries produced. It became part of Japan's cultural memory, a haunting reminder of the fragility of trust. The case changed Japan's entire approach to cash transport and police procedure, forcing the government to introduce tighter security protocols and better training. The 1968 robbery became a symbol of the vulnerability of a rapidly changing society. Fresh from the Tokyo Olympics and the launch of the Shinkansen, one man in a police uniform managed to outsmart an entire country. And perhaps the greatest irony of all, the crime took place right next to Japan's largest prison. Where the state displayed the power of law and order, someone proved how easily it could be deceived.